Hey everybody, it's Brad.
And I'm Christa.
From the Big Family Homestead. And well, a lot of you guys have been asking a bunch of different questions, and I don't type.
And I don't have time.
The thing is this, you would think that a video guy, techie, nerdy dude would be able to type, like something basic, but the reality is no. So instead of trying to respond with very short answers that you might not get the answer you were looking for, figured we would just make a video on some of the ones that keep coming up again and again and again, and hopefully, well, it'll be good enough.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get one of the ones that comes up a lot that's kind of an easy answer out of the way first, and that is this. What made you want to start homesteading?
Yeah, well, for us, it was, we had a lot of kids, and going to the grocery store, that bill is ridiculous. So, you know, we decided, let's start with some chickens, and well, bees was first, and chickens, and get a few eggs, and...
Well, it really honestly came out of the prepper thing.
Yeah.
We started because, you know, when you watch the news and you start looking into different alternative news sources and you're starting to see different stories that are not necessarily reported on mainstream news, we started learning more and more about what we were being deceived on.
Yeah.
I think that would be a kind word.
So one way to
deceived
do it.
on.
It's a bug.
And yeah, well, we're outside. But so we started, you know, storing food. You know, that was the first thing. You know, your beans and your rice, and learning how to put it in the Mylar bags and the buckets with the oxygen absorbers. But then we quickly realized that if you use all that up, there's no resupply. So we had to learn these skills from scratch.
Right. And it's just, the food you grow is so much better than the stuff you find in the store.
Oh yeah, no, that was one funny side note. Now, Mama's become a tomato snob.
Yeah. I hate store-bought tomatoes.
They're
so gross.
She calls them those lifeless pink orbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're horrible.
Nasty.
And they charge a lot of money for this junk anyway. So that's kind of how we started. And one thing is we switched over from that prepper mentality into a homesteading mentality just because there's no resupply. You're growing it.
You run out of your beans and rice and there's nothing else. So you gotta learn how to grow what you like to eat.
And that is a key too. So if you're considering getting into this lifestyle or expanding on what you're doing, that would be a super important key, is that don't grow stuff that you hate just because it came in like an all-in-one package, like, oh, here's 50,000 seeds.
Spend a little, I mean, if you have to spend a little bit more, select the things that you like.
Yeah, because, I mean, she loves asparagus. I hate asparagus. I won't eat it.
So we don't grow it.
Well, that brings me to another question. Another question was, hey, Brad and Christa, I'm kind of hearing that you're looking for a new homestead. Is that true?
Yep.
Yes, it is. And we basically gotten to the point where we know how many animals we want to have, and we know how many animals we need to have to sustain our family, but also to help others in the community.
Exactly. And the 1 acre is not cutting it for us.
Not anymore. It was when we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
So we are looking. We have no idea where God would drop us. So if you've got like 10 or 20 acres you want to give us, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Just private message, whatever. You know, whatever. So another question that comes up a lot, it's more of a comment, I guess it's a little of both, is that folks will say, well, I have chickens or I have rabbits, but I don't think I could ever process them for meat. How do you do that? And I guess the question is, how do you come to an okay place in your head where you're like, this is gonna happen? And I would have to say that it was not easy.
Not at
in
first,
the beginning.
No.
We honestly, we try so very hard to make sure that our animals are provided for in every way. Everything from medical to giving them the right foods, to making sure they have enough space, to make sure that they're cared for and protected, and then in exchange, when time comes, we do believe we eat meat, and so if we feel like if you're going to eat meat, then you better be a part of that food chain, because I don't know if you guys know how those animals are treated in a commercial commercial food setting. It's disgusting. It's deplorable.
Yeah. No animal should be treated that way.
They're treated like a part of a machine.
Right. And why is PETA not going after that?
Yeah, that's interesting. You PETA people that will get on this and troll around and be like, how dare you eat meat? How come you don't freak out on the Tyson and
Tyson and Purdue? Hello.
Yeah. So anyway.
Or Smithfield.
Yeah. But the whole idea of mechanized farming when it comes to animals, I mean, have you seen some feedlots for cows?
Oh, they're horrible.
It's just horrific.
They're standing in this much deep of their own waste.
And so when we decided, okay, we want to continue consuming meats as a protein source, then there was no question that if we were going to do it, we had to do it with complete respect. We had to take care of them, provide for them in every way that they need, and then when it comes time to process them in a way that is the least amount of discomfort for that animal. And we believe we've figured that out, and it's actually a kosher way of butchering them. But yeah, it was hard the first few times.
Right.
We even say a prayer and thank God for how He's provided for these animals, and we ask that they don't go through any unnecessary discomfort.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't easy.
No, it was not easy. We had a few kids pass out. Pretty much.
No, and don't hear that wrong. We're not bringing all our little kids out.
No.
We're not.
The older kids who are teenagers, and
a couple go like woo.
Yeah, they both turned white. They didn't actually pass out or throw up or anything like that. They just turned white, and it was a new thing for them. And
now we all have a job.
Right. Honestly, the first time I was doing it made me feel squeamish and uncomfortable, but God has provided these animals for our family to nourish our family, and it's
the most natural, healthy way to do it.
Yes, thank you.
And as long as you're being respectful and you're taking care, I don't see an issue with it at all.
Right.
Now, this question comes up, painfully far, far too often, but what the heck do you see in him, Christa?
That he's funny, he's kind, he's generous.
No, keep going.
He is an amazing husband and father, and I am so grateful to God for him.
Well, thank you.
Another question that we've been asked is, if you could pick your perfect homestead, what would it be like? Well,
we've been talking about that a lot, actually, because we don't know where God's going to bring us. We just know that this isn't our final spot.
Right. Honestly, if we had 100 acres, where half of it is wooded, where you can still hunt, and still harvest animals that way.
You got to have pasture land.
You got to have, and then
grassland.
Have some pasture land, and have an area for your barns and your home, and have a nice big chunk for your home.
Got to have a water source.
Well, yeah, and a nice big chunk for your home so that you can have your children outside playing, and they're not running around in the animal yard, which is what our kids like to do. They like to play in the chicken and cow yard.
And we want them out of there.
Yeah, they can't play in there. It's not sanitary.
Yeah.
A pond and a well.
Water source got to be.
Yeah, a pond for fish.
The house wouldn't have to be anything great shakes, because we're never in it very much.
No, I mean, I am because of the kids, but during the day.
Yeah. The only thing that's a weird thing when it comes to this question is, because I have every intention of keeping doing the YouTube thing, an internet connection.
Yeah, that's necessary, and it can't cost us $500 a month.
Oh my gosh, no. That's half our budget.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, and for a final question, this one has been coming up a lot lately because I've been talking about the situation in Venezuela a lot lately. And a lot of people have been saying, I don't know how to begin in food storage, setting something aside for what if situations. How do I start?
Right. Well, my first thing would be...
Just start.
Just start. When you go to the grocery store, buy an extra bag of beans, dry beans.
Well, hold on. Let's back up for just a second, Mama. Because we're talking about different economic levels. There's people out there who could just go, I'm going to write a check to Mountain House, and then all of a sudden that whole mountain of food shows up and it's in the neat buckets and it's just done.
Yeah, well, we
if that's
couldn't
you,
do that.
No, hold on.
We couldn't do that.
Hold on, though. If that's you, do it.
Yeah.
If it's not, there are ways to get this done that it's not going to cost $1 bajillion.
Right, exactly. You know, a bag of dry beans, 1 pound of dry beans is about $1.30. Okay? If you pick one of those up every week when you go to the grocery store, you have 4 pounds of beans for that month.
See, but now keep
and
in
then
mind,
put it away.
Keep in mind that 4 pounds of dry beans is going to make a whole lot more food when you soak them.
Exactly. And a pound of rice, I don't even remember how much a bag of rice is.
We have so much rice.
Because we buy 50-pound bags of rice because our family is so big. You know, but you have to think, what was it, $11 for a 50-pound bag? Yeah,
it was cheap.
It was really cheap. I mean,
$11
once a month is going to feed you for
a long
time.
Depending on your family's size. And you know what? There's a thing that this church, this new church that we're going to, this is genius, and I love it. They were trying to raise some money to get some pigs and chickens for
a farm
in Nigeria. And so he said, I don't want you to just go grab a $20 bill out of your wallet and give it. He says, no. We need to do what's called swap.
Right.
And I said, what is this? As I pensively stroke my beard.
Sacrificing with a purpose.
And what that means is you're going to give up something you don't necessarily need, like a lunch or shoes or something that you want, but you don't need. Something that you want but don't need, so that somebody can have something they need.
Right. And you can do that for your own family.
That's it. That's the point.
You can sacrifice your McDonald's or your Starbucks coffee every morning. That's $4 to $7 per coffee that you get.
Now that's a lot of beans.
$4 to $7. That's a lot of beans and rice. And canned tomatoes. Man, put those three together, that makes an amazing dish.
Well, and more tips on how to start. Here's the thing, guys. If you can afford one, get a vacuum sealer.
Yes.
If you can afford one, get a pressure canner and start learning how to can foods.
Right.
If you have the means, and this doesn't have to cost a lot of money. And by the way, I'm going to put all the stuff we're talking about down in links below. So if you're interested, there's going to be more spots you can go and check the stuff out.
Right.
But oxygen absorbers, they don't cost much.
Well, you can also get a dehydrator and dehydrate your food. There's also ways you can do it in the oven.
Yeah, you don't need it.
No, you don't need a machine to do it. There are other ways that you can
Solar dehydrators are awesome. And if you say, well, hey, Brad, I don't want to spend a ton of money on a vacuum sealer. Well, down below, there's going to be literally a brake pump for your car. You can vacuum seal mason jars with that. And those are like $10.
Yeah.
So there are ways you can get going. And if you've got the means, write a check, but get it going. And if you don't have the means and you want to kind of start out slow and just a little bit at a time, then here's a couple tips.
Just start. I mean, it will save you so much heartache later on.
And not to mention this too, guys, here's the thing. People will approach you and say, well, what if you never have a crisis or nothing ever really happens? Well, so what? It's cheaper because food I bought 5 years ago is cheaper than it is now. So all you got to do is rotate and eat what you've got, and so there's our encouragements. Please, we're part of this community, guys, and we want you to feel like you can talk with us, ask us questions. And so, in all honesty, if you ever want to ask a question, shoot us an email or in the comments below, and we will try our best to get to them.
Yep.
So, Brad?
I'm Christa.
You guys, have an amazing day.